Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This morning, my internet was all out early today, up until about 5 o'clock this afternoon. So I produced this show, and I didn't get a chance to upload it to the internet. So I'm uploading it this afternoon. Hope you guys will enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching, and here is the entirety of the show. Bye-bye. Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show on this Friday, the 6th of May, 2022. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad to have you guys here. Now, here's what I want to talk about. We got a really bad situation developing in the western half of the United States. Let's get started. Let's open up the charts right here. This is a very serious situation. It concerns the western half of the United States. Let me just show you. Let me go down here, and I want you to see this U.S. drought monitor. And you know what we're seeing is the whole western half of the United States, the Dust Bowl from the 1930s, which was a very dangerous situation, is starting to reform. And not only that, this is much more widespread these drought conditions. Now, if we go up and we take a look at this dam right here. You know what you're seeing? You see all this black marks down at the bottom of the dam? Like, those are the old watermarks. And, you know, I can see they're like 30 feet below the low water marks on that dam right there. And I mean, this is where they produce a lot of power. A hydroelectric power plant at Glen Canyon Dam. And I'm talking about... It says, they're saying, we're knocking on the door Judgment Day. Judgment Day being when we don't have any water to give anybody. So the problem area here in this dam is 3,490 feet. It says it could be disastrous because once it reaches that level, right, they can't produce power. And not only power, but they can't give anybody any water. It says emergency action in response to Powell's water surface elevation at 3,522 feet. That's where they're at right now. It's quickly dropping. At a level below 3,490 feet, it would mean that the Glen Canyon Dam hydropower plant would no longer be operational and could disrupt power and water to millions of people. So we're looking at, in Colorado here, this Lake Powell. This is a problem right here in the dam system that they got, and they're just not getting enough water out in the west. Just look at this map of where the drought is. Look, it's almost half of the country, for crying out loud. And it's extreme drought conditions. You know what comes with droughts? Fires. Mega fires. You know, and what it basically boils down to is deserts start to expand. And they start to encroach on areas that weren't deserts before. And when you get an area that becomes a desert, what happens is it doesn't attract clouds. Clouds just basically, they float over an area like that, and they just burn off instead of growing into something that'll produce water. A cloud will just, over a desert, a cloud will just kind of slowly disappear. It'll come in. The cloud will come in and it'll just kind of evaporate, and it's gone, you know, because there's so much non-moisture around. See, non-moisture breeds non-moisture. Moisture breeds more moisture, you know, and this is a dangerous situation when you look at the western half of the United States. It's just slowly, it's becoming more and more drought prone. And this is hard for agriculture. Now, talking about agriculture, where is it here? I'm going to take a look at it. I had something here. Okay. Ukraine ministers accuse Russia of stealing several 100,000 tons of grain. Russians are taking all the grain. And it says the accusations of grain theft was made by Ukrainian deputy agricultural minister. Evidently, it's 200,000 tons of grain, you know. What's the world going to do? I mean, we're facing areas that produce grain out in the Midwest and out in the western part, half, not only the oil, your oil that you use to cook with. Canada produces a tremendous amount of cooking oil, you know, called canola oil. I guess they named it after Canada or something. Anyway, I'm going to tell you guys, you got to have some food put away for yourself, and water, bottled water, you know. We're in trying times right now. You never know when, at the very least, food prices could double, triple, quadruple. It's probably as good an idea as putting away silver or something, because I mean, the price might go up that much. We're living in very weird times right now, and you got to keep your eye on this situation. Let's take a look now at the silver price today. You know, we're down 14 cents. You know, it's fertilizers too. They can't get fertilizers, or good quality fertilizers, and goodness knows what they'll start resorting to try to grow crops. I've heard talk about different things that they might resort to anyway, that North Korea already resorts to and has been resorting to for a long time. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that too much. 22.33 for silver today. It's down 14 cents. You know, the price to produce silvers went up a lot in the past year or so. It's probably went up by about 30% higher than it was to produce silver, because see, it's so energy. It takes a lot of energy to produce silver. You know, a lot of diesel fuel and a lot of fossil fuels to actually get it out of the ground and mill it. I've talked about this a lot. You know, they extract the silver from something called ore, and the ore is basically rocks. And how do you get the silver out of rocks and into silver? It's energy. Fossil fuel energies. That's what they use. They don't use wind. They don't use solar. They use things like diesel fuel. And, of course, cost has went up tremendously on diesel fuel. I think, what was diesel fuel like? It was like under $3 a gallon or something. Now it's like way over $4. It just went way up, you know. And worldwide, it's the same situation. It doesn't matter whether you're buying it by the liter or you're buying it by the gallon. Still, the prices went way up on diesel fuel. Anyway, we're going to take a look now at gold and see what gold's doing. So, in other words, you're getting better value. Even though you're paying a bit more for your silver, I think you can't get it for much less than $30 an ounce right now. You're still getting great value for your money. You're getting, when you buy that ounce of silver, you're probably getting, it probably costs like $17 worth of fossil fuels for that $30 piece of silver. And that's just the cost for the fuel to get it out of the ground. Not talking about machinery, wear and tear on machinery. We're not talking about the different other extenuating costs, and plus exploration for new resource, which they haven't been doing properly, you know. And there's something. When the price of silver explodes, the explorers might be, you know, and also the miners. You can make an awful lot of money off the juniors, you know, and the miners, like, just depends on doing your research. If you guys are not into maybe buying real physical silver anymore, the price is going to explode pretty soon. Holding physical's great, but if you want to even make more, talking about that, you could do your research. Research would be the big key to making money on things like silver miners and exploration. Explorers. It would be all about you doing really a lot of research. That's what would make the edge, give you the edge on that. If that's what you're interested in, you know. Different people are interested in different things. Let's take a look at cryptocurrencies. Like, some people, maybe in the wintertime, or even in the summer, maybe they want to mine a little bit of cryptocurrencies as a hobby. And that makes a good hobby. It's a hobby that can make money. Or a little bit of money, you know, depending on how it's done. 1647 today on cryptos, and we're looking at a Bitcoin price of $35,900. 975. So it's down right now. But, you know, it's been down before, you know, and it's been in this bear market, and it's been testing lows, and it's just waiting for its next bull market again. When's that going to come? When the Fed changes direction and becomes looser monetary policy again. They can't withstand this. This is a storm that the Fed cannot withstand. They're going to have to go back to looser monetary policy, because this is a bottomless pit that would completely destroy the system with inflation. And they can't go there. It's just too big, too overwhelmingly powerful for the Fed. And of course, when they change direction, they got an unlimited printing press. You know, it's exactly the same thing as when you see the debt ceiling. You know, and there's all this talk. Oh, they're going to go over the debt ceiling, and there's going to be a financial crisis. And Janet Yellen gets up there and says, oh, if we go past a certain point in the debt ceiling, and debt ceiling. And they create all this fear, right? Then when it comes, what do? Bang, oh, they extend it and push it up higher. And what do you think's going to happen again this time? It's the exact same thing, exact same trick they're pulling. Oh, we're going to tighten, and we're going to do quantitative tightening, and we're going to do this, and we're going to raise interest rates by 75 basis points, and on and on and on it goes. But when the push comes to the shove, when things start to really crack up and things start to get tough, you watch some go back dovish again. So quick it's going to make your eyes spin in your head. You're going to be wondering what happened. They're going to do it so fast. And they never ask you anything about it. They just tell you later what they did. And that's when we're going to see everything go back up again. Crypto's going to go back into a bull once that happens. Gold and silver is going to take the moonshot they've been waiting to take for years. And your dollar's going to take one heck of a haircut in what you can purchase with it. And it's going to be just a continuation of the same old, same old. This whole thing about fighting inflation and they're getting in there and they're doing something is a bunch of baloney. It ain't going to last. It's got no staying power. Because when the push really comes, when it really gets hard and the going gets hard, they're going to cave in so quick. Anyway, let's take a look now at the Dow Jones. And see, this is what's going to make them cave, is when these things keep going down, 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 and it hits a certain point. They know what that point is. You don't. They're not telling you. But when all these markets and indices reach a certain point, and they got it probably already set, they know where they're going to change direction. They're not going to tell you that they're going to change direction at that point. They probably got it all marked on their calendar or whatever, what they're going to do, exactly what they're going to do. They're just buying time right now at this point, trying to protect the dollar. But the clock is ticking. Down 166 points in the day so far, the Dow. We're going to take a look at crude oil now at $109. Oh my goodness, that's pricey. You know? So what do? Sell our crude reserves when the price is low, and then they buy in when the price is really high? Well, that's a good strategy. I mean, tell me what the government doesn't waste money on. Everything that they do out there. You know, they got these projects and stuff to study ants in the middle of Africa or something like that. And they'll spend like $500,000 on this and $1 million on that. Taxpaying money, and they never ask you. And then later, they're always coming back begging for more tax money. You know? And they're spending on your children, and your children's children are going to be broke. Well, more than broke. I think every U.S. citizen owes something like, what is it, 200,000 or something? Some ridiculous amount they owe. Talk about putting the fox in charge of the hen house and letting them have a free rein to spend whatever they want to spend of your money. They've mismanaged the whole thing at this point. And this is why we're in the crisis. This is why the food crisis is happening. This is why there's going to be an electrical crisis. Look, guys. I told you guys a while back, food wars. I talked about it. You've heard me mention it. Other shows going back quite a ways, maybe a year. I'm talking about food wars. What did I have in mind? Well, it's already beginning, and it's going to be around the world. They're going to be popping up here, there, and everywhere. Food wars, because there's not enough food for 8 billion people anymore. That's why. And look, I just told you about what Russia's doing. Right here. Russia's several 100,000 tons gone. Not for us anymore. It's food wars. That's what's coming. Anyway, where were we here? We were looking at the MOVE index at 122.72, and you can see it just steadily going up. When it gets too high, there's going to be instability in the credit markets. And it could come overnight, this instability, and it could be really big. We're keeping our eye on that. Bonds and rates today, we're looking at those yields still going up. Look at this, U.S. 10-year at 3.12 now. And we still got our inversions between the 20 and the 7 and the 10, the 20 and the 30. 30 years at 3.2. But look at the 20 years, 3.43. So investors are basically saying, hey, you know, we don't trust these bonds. And this is why you see these inversions. They're saying, we'll take a 20-year over a 30-year. Why? Because they don't want to invest their money in any length of time in this system. This system is big. They have money insecurity now. The whole thing's changing. They're losing confidence. And the whole currency system's a confidence game, guys. Let's take a look now at the U.S. dollar index. And we're seeing 103.43. And she's going along basically sideways today. But you know the dollar's going to stay strong until the Fed's done with doing this monkey business that they're doing. And that could come overnight when that happens. So if you can find that bottom where the stock market's going to come to a bottom now, it's going to keep going down, come to a bottom when the Fed, if you knew what the Fed's marker was, oh, if you only knew what their marker was. In other words, they've got a marker in. They know when they're going to turn this markets around. You don't know what it is, but if you could buy in at that bottom, you know, then it's going to go up just like it did. The exact same thing is happening, except more so than happened at the beginning of the COVID crisis, you know, when the markets fell off big. You remember the people that bought in then? How good they made out? Well, you know, anyway, I'm not going to say about that. But anyway, listen, guys. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to gain some extra viewers on my channel. And, you know, it's... I'm making a little bit of progress now at this point. I need you guys to keep helping me make progress to, you know, maybe you know somebody who is interested in finance or interested in what's happening. Why is the world going crazy? And maybe they're interested in why the world's going crazy. Well, and how much crazier is it going to get before it gets better? Well, this is the biggest, most interesting story out there. It's the story that I'm covering. How the financial system is what's causing all the rest of all this stuff that's going on. And the greed, money, you know, all this money, what they call money, and the control and everything. It's a story of stories. And I've been covering it for like 7 years here on this channel, you know, a long time I've been covering it here. And you guys have been watching. And I'm very grateful for my viewers and my audience out there. Thank you, guys. And we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.